Alright people, welcome back to the PWC channel once again, and today we have, for the first time in a long time, one of our award videos with our coach of the week for week 6, which will be Nickinator13, aka Regieleki, aka the fastest coach you've ever seen, aka the freeze master. Hello Nick, how are you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm actually also quite well. At least I'm better than my desktop PC, which is still broken, but hopefully you can still hear me on this laptop. And so,
Yep.
yeah, what we're gonna do today is we will have some questions for you, and you will hopefully answer them all, and yeah, it will hopefully be a good time. So, are you ready?
I'm ready when you are.
All right. So, the first thing I always ask people is, when did you start competitive play, and how did that happen for you?
Um, I'm not sure exactly the age of when it happened. I remember I first started like watching A Drive mainly, and when I first started out, I would just try and draft whatever he drafted. I remember in Gen during like Gen 7, he got like a Latias Coco P2 core. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna draft that. I'm gonna do good. I think I won maybe one game with that.
Okay, so you
um,
started. All right, sorry.
I want I want to say I was around maybe 12 or 13 though.
Okay, so what that was in Gen 7 then, when you
That
started playing.
was starting around Gen 6 because I believe X and Y came out in 2013.
Oh, yeah, that's true. X and Y was 2013. All right, and did
So
you
it was somewhere around Gen 6, yeah. Good.
so did you start playing a draft immediately, or did you do other things?
Um so when I first got like into Pokemon in general through mainly the card game and the anime when I was way younger, when I was like 7 or 8. Um my first game was back in White 2. But I didn't get into competitive when until I got mainly first I got a phone. um, Started watching A Drive. I got into Amino. Made some friends there. Got introduced to Draft League, and I said, "Oh, this is kind of cool," and just drove on to where I'm now.
All right, so you're another one of those amino boys. I have absolutely no idea what that is, but I've heard that a couple of times in coach interviews up to this point. So yeah, all right. Okay, so how many can you estimate? How many leagues have you played before this one? Before you came into PWC?
um, if we're counting, if I'm saying multiple seasons in one league, it counts as just one.
Yeah.
Probably close to a dozen
All right, close to a dozen different leagues.
going up there.
That's
I
actually
think at one point I was in like 8 at once.
okay. That's insane. All right, eight. Okay, and can you tell us what the biggest success was that you had in all those leagues?
Um, the biggest one was actually really lately. It was the ninth season for this league that I'm in with Gil and Moon. Um, it was they actually allowed Dynamax for D tier, E tier non legends, and I drafted this Sand team, and I had a Combuskin that I just abused with Dynamax, and I was able to make it all the way to the finals. But I ended up losing in the finals.
All right, but yeah, I guess runner up is always nice as well. But you've forgotten the biggest one because I know of your biggest win. Tell us about your biggest win. You remember, right?
The speed tournament.
Yes, I'm talking about the speed tournament.
Mm-hmm.
The highly prestigious
Ironically, I drafted Sand there too.
the highly prestigious pre-season speed tournament. You won that pre-season 5. Okay, so tell us
Never
how.
even lost a game in that tournament.
Yeah, that's true. And you beat Moonlight in finals. I remember that. That was also that's quite a good win actually.
I beat Moon twice in that tournament, actually, I believe.
Oh, okay. I only remember the finals match, and I remembered vaguely. I basically only remember that you won. But yeah. Tell us, how did it happen? How did you get into PWC then?
I know I played Prof, yeah. Good.
Yeah. Okay. So quit right there. Prof is not a good win. Just saying that. Prof is basically the freest win in all of PWC. So don't no reason to be proud of that one. Okay, so
Well, I mean, for my first battle in PWC, I'll count it as a win.
yeah, I
Say that was
guess.
pretty good.
I guess. I mean, Prof did make finals last season, but we still have to make fun of him. Okay, so yeah, I was gonna ask.
Yeah, he didn't. Yeah.
Can I think we're lagging a little bit. Sorry if I keep cutting you off here.
No, you're good. I will say you're cutting out a little bit, but I can make out what you're saying.
All right. Okay, so I was gonna ask, how did it happen for you? How did you hear about the PWC, and how did you come here actually?
I first heard about the league from Gil when he was talking about how bad the tiers were in season 4, whichever the one before I came in was.
Uh huh.
When he made that giant document talking about why Zygarde is bad. um,
That's the most
and
Gil thing to
then
do.
yep, and then eventually he just invited me, and I was like, yeah, sure, why not? I had like maybe one other one going on at the time, so I was like, yeah, sure.
Mm, yeah, and you quickly got the reputation of being the most pushy and quickest coach of all. Always the first one to do the matches. Okay,
hmm
so then I wanted to ask you some questions about Pokemon in general. So I guess you didn't start with competitive, did you? How did you get
No.
interested in Pokemon in the first place?
I remember I was visiting my uncle, and he's big with like Magic the Gathering, and he had a lot of Pokemon cards as well. And he gave me some of those cards, which then led me to get more into it with the cards and more of the anime. And then as I got older, I was able to get the games, and then slowly transitioned over to competitive. That was the main, just slowly transitioned over to competitive.
Okay, so directly from cards to competitive, none of those mainline games or anime, nothing like that.
Um, I think the anime influenced it, just kind of watching like the big battles, because I know like the gym battles were always my favorite part. Um, the mainline games I wouldn't say as much, at least not in my first game, because I'm pretty sure like back when I started White 2, the only way I was able to beat that was because I kept losing to the gym leader so often that my Pokemon would level up, and then eventually I'd be so over leveled I would just win.
Okay, all right. And did you have a favorite mon growing up in on these in the cards or in the anime or wherever?
For the cards, not so much, but I know in the anime, um, Ash's Sceptile was one of the big ones, as well as his Infernape. Just kind of the Sinnoh portion of the anime was one of my favorite ones. Um, I do know Sceptile was kind of one of the big ones that I really liked growing up, just in general. Nowadays, I'm not too sure exactly if I have any favorite Pokemon, but I kind of have a list that are like way up there.
Okay, and so going from favorite Pokemon in general to, do you have any favorite Pokemon in draft that you like to use that you think are overpowered?
Um, One of my favorite to use is Gudra, just because I feel like my main style of play is that bulky offense, and I feel like Gudra is that almost that perfect representation of the bulky offense with its Spadef and the AV sets and then just clicking Draco and just at least two-shotting almost everything. It's like I remember we were watching a Johto League game, and the entire time I was just criticizing whatever the Gudra set was because I love Gudra. I know Gudra. It's one of those big mons that I love and I know.
Yeah, I actually remember that that you were talking about Gudra and that you used
hmm
Gudra a lot prior to that. Okay, actually, I personally have never used Gudra in draft ever, but I also don't have as much experience. I basically started with PWC season 4, so I haven't even played that many draft leagues.
Oh
Yeah.
wow! I'm surprised. You're so good. I thought you played for a lot longer.
I played for a long time before I started draft leagues. I used to play just regular singles tournaments and stuff. So I have a lot of experience, but not necessarily in draft.
Gotcha.
All right. Okay. So
Mm.
I wanted to ask you some things about PWC in general. So I want to just make a quick summary of your PWC history. You started in season 5. You came in there. You won the speed tournament, which was nice. And then you started in last
Mm-hmm.
season's what is now called Sinnoh League. And you did
Yep.
pretty well there. You made playoffs. I think you made semifinals as well as that, right?
Yeah, I made semis. I believe I played Moon. I ended up losing to Moon, and then I was supposed to play Van to determine third place, but he was retiring anyway, so I never played him.
Yeah, okay. And that's how you got into Hoenn League. And
Yep.
actually, Hoenn League, you are doing quite well. And that's also why you are Coach of the Week for week 6. Because, for those of you who don't know, he actually beat two of the absolute top players of the league in 1 week this week. He played Reckless, who he beat 3-0, I think, and Girahim.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, and Girahim you beat 2-0. So that's
Yep.
actually very impressive. All right. So, what were your goals coming into this season now that you are in the highest league?
Um, my main goal was mainly just to not get regulated down to the middle league, Sinnoh. Um, but I did want to prove that I was able to be here, that I earned my spot, even though I probably shouldn't have been here, because if I did play Van for that third place spot, I was going to absolutely lose. Um, his team just destroyed me that year. But with how I'm doing, I feel like I think if I win, yeah, if I win this last game, I'll be able to ensure a playoff spot, and I can try and prove myself.
Yeah. So, what are you feeling like? How is Hoenn League compared to last season's Sinnoh League? Do you think there's a huge difference there, or do you feel like it's quite similar?
Um, I do feel like there's a difference. Some of the better players from Sinnoh League are up here, well, like Moon mainly. I expect Mayo to come up here soon as well. With only it being seven weeks, there's not as many people I get to play. But like Gil and Prof, I played decent enough. Gil, I played plenty of times, so I know him enough. Um, but it is a lot tougher, especially with guys like Jam and Reckless and Girahim. There's a lot of guys that are troublesome for me.
Okay. Is there someone that you would say? So, who would you say is the scariest guy in your league or in Hoenn League in general? Just from your impression so far.
Um, in Ruby League at least, probably Girahim, because I will say I got very lucky that match, and if I didn't, I probably lose. Um, I got lucky both against Girahim and Reckless. I don't know what it was yesterday. I just got very lucky.
Yeah, that's
Um,
that happens.
yeah, because I like if Mega Metachan like misses an headbutt on that last turn against Girahim, I probably lose because I don't think Vigafol is going to kill Buzzwole. But Girahim, at least in Ruby Div, is probably the biggest threat. And then just in general, for Sapphire at least, Inkfish enthusiast, as well as Caracasa look very threatening, both with the 5-1 record that looks terrifying.
Mm. Yeah, I think Hoenn League in general this year looks pretty good. All right.
Yeah.
Did you play Hello 815 yet?
I did. He was one of the two losses I had. Him and Gil were the two people I lost to.
Ah, okay. Because you didn't mention him as one of the scary ones. Because I personally think he's really scary, just from the impression I got watching those
He
games.
he does seem to play well, but the one thing I'm not too scared of is the fact that he could miss playoffs. Because he's the 8 seed right now, sitting 3-2. He could miss it, but he could also just win the next two games, just ensure his spot.
Yeah. Okay. And talking about this season, there's also your team that we didn't mention yet. Can
Mm-hmm.
you go through your team really quick, what were your thoughts behind it, and are you happy with the team?
I'm fairly happy with how I drafted. I'm not 100% happy with exactly how all the mons are going. My main plan just going into the draft was to get Mega Metacham, get Webs, and get Veil. That was my main three goals, and that all happened.
Yeah, you achieved
Um,
those.
Mega Manisham, though, I feel like it's either how I've been playing with it or it just hasn't performed to what I thought it would perform. Because I brought it to 5 games. It only has 3 kills, though. Um, but P2 and Tyrantrum have been like the main threats with it right now because P2 has 8 kills, Tyrantrum has 7. I think P2 is like third in kills in Ruby Div right now, which is insane to me.
That's actually insane. I had no idea.
Yeah, I was looking at it the other day. I think Mega Vino has like 10, and I think Arrow has 9. Both on Girahim that I just beat somehow.
And
Um,
how many does P2 have?
8 if we were
8
counting
kills with P2.
direct and indirect. Yeah.
That's insane. Wow,
Oh
okay.
yeah.
That's crazy. I had P2 last season and we had a 13-week regular season, including playoffs. I think I brought it to like at least 10 games. Must have been at least 10, and I got 1 kill with it.
Dang.
So yeah, that's impressive to me. All right. To be fair, but P2 is a good buzzword for me because P2 has been one of the most notable mons for me this season overall because it has been involved in some of the most notable moments in games so far. And one of the most notable moments was definitely your game against Jan,
Oh
which
yeah.
was uh, basically an all-time great game. So
It
can
has to
you
be.
walk us through what happened that match and what your thoughts are on that?
um. So essentially, that entire match, I was gonna lose 100%. I did not deserve to win that match. But P2 just single handedly decided I got this, and he proceeded to freeze Suicune, and which helped kill Suicune, which was a spec Suicune, which I was not ready for an offensive Suicune at all. Um, and then in just a stall match between P2 and bulky Sylveon, it was able to get the freeze with after clicking Shadow Ball for like 20 turns. I got 0 spit F drops. It proceeds to freeze Sylveon and clicks Tri Attack enough and was able to kill it. But the funnier part is the fact that I brought Signal Beam, the banned move that's not allowed, and the fact that I used it once to try and save Tri Attack PP. P2 was able to kill Sylveon with 1 Tri Attack left, which meant that Signal Beam was irrelevant, which is hilarious to me.
Yeah,
That's probably the funnier part.
that's the most hilarious part. Really, is that exactly that you managed to freeze Sylveon with the very last try attack. That meant that you still were able to kill it with having that one try attack left. So it was
Yep.
basically like a movie scene where the guy saves the world with 1 second left. So,
Oh yeah.
yeah, that was the craziest match this season I've seen so far. Anyway, I mean, there were some good matches, but this one definitely stood
there's
out
been
to
a lot
me
of good games. Yeah.
just because it was the funniest shit ever. And
Oh, that was amazing.
all right, okay, so then let's see. We have talked about who your most dangerous coaches are. Do you have any predictions on who might win this season in
Um,
Hoenn League?
at the moment, I would say probably going to end up being someone from Sapphire Division. At the moment, if we go just based on record, probably either Inkfish or Caracasa. Um, because in top 8 right now, there's only 3 Ruby divs, including me, Gary Heem, and then Hollow. But Sapphire Div looks incredibly scary to me.
Yeah,
With the fact, like, especially with Inkfish, when I believe 2 of his mons are top 2 in kills for Helen League, with Megalotaria and then whatever the other one is, I'm not sure. But he's killing it right now.
yeah. You have to say that Inkfish came in for Uyana, who was already the front runner when Inkfish stepped in. So yeah, but I definitely agree that Uyana, who I'm so sad that he dropped out. I was definitely so excited to see how he was going to finish the season. But
Oh
Inkfish
yeah.
definitely seems to be a scary coach in his own right. So yeah, I'm super excited for these playoffs when they happen.
Oh yeah.
And I'm definitely
It's
also
fun.
super excited to see how you can do in there.
I just hope to get at least one win.
In playoffs or
Yep.
okay,
Interest in playoffs.
yeah, because you already got like 4 wins or
Four.
whatever.
I think the saddest part is the fact that DTN dropped and he's my last game, so I'm so sad I don't get to play DTN.
Yeah, I guess I kind of understand why. Yeah. To be fair, in DTN's defense, he dropped out of last season after not getting a single win. He dropped out of this season, but he got one win. But that was also a free win, a forfeit win, because
Hey,
Justin.
a win's a win.
A win is a win, I guess. Yeah. So at least he has one win under his belt. But
Hmm.
yeah. All right. Okay. So you think just someone from Sapphire Division? You don't wanna make your mind up if it's gonna be Karakasa or what was the Inkfish?
It's gonna be one of those two, definitely. I
Okay.
feel.
So let's leave it at that. Okay. I guess I'm through with PWC and Pokemon questions. Is there anything else that you like to do in life? I hear you're playing. Was it baseball? You were.
Yeah, yeah. I play baseball.
Yeah, I remember that from our first conversation. And I also mentioned, remember that you mentioned once that you are not only fast in game when where you always play your matches like frame one of the week, but you're also quite the fast runner in real life. Is that true?
It is true. Yeah.
What's your, I don't know, how are you guys in America measuring your speed? Like, what's the distance you guys run?
Um. Well, it depends for the sport. I know in baseball you do a 60-yard dash, which is about 90 feet, which is basically the distance between the bases. So it's just seeing how fast you can run from base to base. Um,
Which just for the Europeans watching, which would be like 30 meters.
yeah, but 30 meters, 60 yards. A yard is basically just a meter. It's, yeah, basically the same correlation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, so it's about 60 meters, I believe.
Oh, 60 meters.
And
I thought you were saying 90 feet.
so it's 90 feet, which is about 60 meters, I believe.
No, I think 90 feet is about 30 meters. Now, someone is gonna Google this, and maybe I'm completely
I'm
wrong.
about to Google it.
Definitely gonna get these units straight here, but I'm pretty sure I will bet you that it's around 30 meters.
You're probably right now that I'm thinking about it a little more. Because a meter is about 3 feet roughly.
Yeah.
So just simply just divide. Yeah, I believe it's about 30. 27.4 Google says.
All
So
right.
about 30
Okay.
meters.
So what's how when what time did you clock in?
So I'm not exactly sure because I mainly do recreational sports. Um I believe I can do it in about, I want to say, around 7 seconds, which is pretty fast. I could probably get under seven, get into the sixes. I know like 2 weeks ago, we all the kids on the team we lined up for a race, and I dusted everybody. So I'm at least the fastest kid on the team.
Okay. All right. But I somehow feel like something isn't right here because, like, isn't 6 or 7 seconds in 30 meters like really slow? because just
Um,
just the 100-meter dash, which is what they run at the Olympics. Uh,
mhm.
they run like 10 seconds thereabout for 100 meters. So that would mean, like, if you run 7 seconds for 30 meters, that would mean you're over 22 seconds for a 100-meter dash. So that something is not right there.
Eh, like I said, I'm not exactly sure of the time because I haven't been
Yeah.
clocked in at least a couple years. It's been a while.
Yeah. Okay.
I could definitely come back time and just come back and tell you later.
Yeah. Sure. All right. Okay, so your baseball career is still on track.
So far, yeah. I plan on trying out for the high school team. At the moment, I'm trying to go into college and go into like the major team and whatnot. But we'll see how my life ends up turning out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So, anything else that is new in your life since our last interview that you want to share with the guys?
Um, we could talk about American football, but there's not too much that we could talk about with how different our sides are.
Yeah, I have absolutely no clue about American football. I sometimes I watch the Super Bowl, but
Hmm.
for us it's always like 3 or 4 in the morning. We have a watch party
Yeah,
with some friends there, but I always fall asleep during the game. I think there was not a single Super Bowl that I managed to stay awake for the whole time.
yeah. Like I always try to watch at least the Super Bowl, or at least whenever my team plays.
Okay, all right. So I also want to inform you that my my power of my laptop is about to run out, so we might cut out here any second. So I think that's a good opportunity to just wrap up this interview.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Thank you so much for joining me for this interview. Thank you so much for doing this because this has been the first time for a long time that the coach of the week actually wanted to talk to me, which is cool. And yeah,
I've
so
been wanting to talk since last season.
yeah, that's true. That's true. Like, didn't we have an interview as well last season? I pretty sure we
I
had.
no, I know we just you and me never got an interview. I know you interviewed Gil. I think that might be the last interview
I
you
think
ever did
that might
until
we had a
now.
Q&A in writing. Is that right? That might be the
Yes,
case.
that's what it was. Because after the start of season 5, I was the coach of the week. For winning the speed tourney,
Mm-hmm.
and we did written questions.
All right. Okay. So yeah, we finally managed to get around to doing it, and
Mm-hmm.
that's well deserved because you had such a fantastic week. And congrats for that as well.
Thank you.
And all the best for these playoffs that are coming up. I'm sure you're gonna make your former Sinnoh League colleagues proud with how you did here in Holland League. And yeah, so before the laptop shuts down here, I will just call it a day. Thank you so much, and guys, see you in the next video.